Hello, everyone. Welcome to our September wisdom session. We are so thankful that you are here with us today. As always, we love to know where you are watching from today. So make sure you go down to your chat panel and choose everyone so that everyone can see you and meet you and get to know you in the chat. Again, make sure you click that little right now where it likely says host and panelists. Click everyone and introduce yourself. Again, let us know where you're watching from. Are you home? Are you on the beach? Are you here in your home office? Are you working? Are you in your car? Please tell us you're not driving. Okay, as everyone is coming in, oh yay, let's see, we have Susie is in Eureka working from her home office, Christian in LA, we've got Sonia in Antioch, Karen in Pacific Palisades, lots of Calis, Santa Clara, in Norfolk, Virginia. We are officially coast to coast, ladies. We have an exciting program for you today. As most of you know, when you sign up today, we have Pat Heller leading our WomanUP wisdom session, and we are going to be talking about the life-changing power of mentorship, being a mentor, receiving mentorship. We have alongside Pat, we have Aisha Allen, Lupe Ruiz, and Natalie Leon. For all of those who have been wondering how you say her fabulous last name, think of France when you say it. Warms you up, doesn't it? All right, so through their stories today, through their wisdom-filled stories, we're all going to learn how important the mentorship has been in their careers, and in their life in general. So we're going to talk about how they've supported them in growth, how working with the right mentor has propelled them. And then again, we're also going to really find out and answer some questions on how to find yours. Like, how did they find their mentors? How did they find their mentees? So if you have ever wanted to become a mentor or be mentored, you're in the right place. You are absolutely in the right place. If you are watching the replay, we want you to interact just as you would if you were with us here live. So drop comments in below if you're watching this on the YouTube channel or on the blog post. Really just soak it in. We will make sure that these amazing leaders get your questions before, during, and after. All right. So I am going to turn it over to you, Pat. It is the floor is yours for some introductions, and I will be back at the end to bring all of the questions, which reminds me, before I head out, if you've got questions for this amazing foursome, please drop them in the chat. We will collect them throughout. And when I come back at the end, we will ask these amazing leaders your questions. All right. I'll see you in a few.
Thank you so much. The most amazing Deborah. I feel like autumn when I see you, with your gorgeous hair. Anyway, I am so grateful to be here this afternoon with this amazing group, talking about a subject that is so near and dear to my heart, and I know to all of ours. I am Pat Heller. I am Senior Managing Director with Compass in Southern California. And I've been in the business probably about a little over 30 years, which is aging me. But along that way, and I think for my entire life, I have had so many different mentors. And I guess I have an open mindset and I'm always learning. That is probably my number one tenet, always be learning. And so I've had mentors that have helped me in life. I've had mentors helping me in career. I've had mentors helping me and find my voice and be more empowered as a woman and stand more in leadership. So I'm constantly having mentors all the time, and they're just all over the place. So very excited to be with this tremendously powerful group of women talking about mentorship and both sides of that, mentor and mentee. So I would love Lupe, Natalie, and Aisha, if you could just introduce like 60, 90 seconds, a little bit about your history and kind of what brings you here as well.
Yes.
Go ahead, Aisha.
Shall I start? Okay. My name is Aisha Allen, and I am a realtor with the brokerage Brown and Brown Real Estate. I'm definitely active in our real estate industry, and because one of my fearless leaders and mentors definitely recommended it, it's led me to some of my servitude. I definitely have a servant heart. So I'm currently the president-elect for Women's Council of Realtors locally, and I act as chair for strategic partners on the state level. I am also co-founder and first vice president for Realtors to Fresno County. I also participate on our local association by ways of we've just recently developed the diversity committee, and I am the chair, as well as I participate with YPN on the committee as Wake Up coordinator and education committee with the association. So as I said, I have a servant heart, so I definitely serve on many levels.
You sure do. Thank you. Natalie, you want to hop in?
Yes, I'm Natalie Leone, and I'm the Regional Director of Business Development for Modern Broker. I am managing our Fresno Clovis office in a newly renovated historic building in Old Town Clovis, which is pretty exciting. This year, I've had the privilege of holding the position of our local president of Women's Council of Realtors Greater Fresno, and I'm also a wave maker with WomanUP. I am a certified mentor with Buffini and Company, and I've been a realtor since 2005. So I'm coming up on my 16th year, which dates me a little bit too, but it's all between us girls, right? I have been, while I was in Tulare County, I served as the YPN chair, the chair of the education committee. I've been on the board of directors and the MLS committee. Next month, I'll be celebrating my 3rd wedding anniversary, and I have a 28-year-old daughter who is the love of my life.
Fabulous. So many similarities. I just love it. Lupe.
Yes, so I'm the broker owner of Home Show Real Estate in Ontario, California. I'm also certified as a woman and minority-owned business, and I've been in the business since 2005. And I am a producing broker, so I do serve like Inland Empire, San Gabriel Valley, and high desert areas. And in addition to being certified as probate and seniors real estate specialist, just like Natalie, I'm also certified as a Buffini and Company mentor, and I am also an ambassador of the National Latina Businesswomen Association in the Inland Empire.
Fabulous. So now, how about we just have a conversation about mentoring and how you handle it? How many do you have? I'm interested to know, how many mentors do you have? What are they working with you on? Is it life? Is it career? Just personal experiences for each of you, because I think that's so helpful to all of us who want to know about it and discover how we might hop into this. Who wants to start? Lupe. Oh, you're on mute.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. So I started back in 2005. So that was around the time when, the market was starting to change. And so it was a challenging market for me, and especially for newer agents. It was pretty challenging, with all the, foreclosures and short sales and all that stuff going on. So it was overwhelming at times for me, but I was part of a team. So the team leader that I had, she was actually, very patient with me. She would continuously meet with me and answer all my questions if I had issues with transactions. And she would go the extra mile. It wasn't just like, I go to the office and I ask her questions. She actually, helped me even, also with personal matters, and, would give me advice. And, sometimes, I go back and I think on those transactions that I had issues that I would ask her questions, and I'm like, how come I couldn't figure that out, but, she was patient and she didn't judge me. She would answer my questions and she would guide me through it. And then later on, when I became an independent broker, I had questions, and I wondered whether I was doing things right. It kind of felt lonely at times, being an independent broker and just being me.
Yeah.
So I did try to reach out to other independent brokers who had been in the business longer, but unfortunately they didn't really, respond to me trying to connect with them. So that's when I went through the WomanUP's mentorship program. And I met my current mentor, and, she has been great. She's been mentoring me through, different questions that I had as far as the operations and the importance of getting involved. And she has been very gracious in sharing her knowledge and best practices on how to run an independent brokerage. And her advice has come a long way. And, I greatly value that advice that she's given me. And, as far as personal, I've had, mentors, life, spiritual, and just personal life. And in my case, they've been women who are older than me, who, I look up to because they have more experience, and I know that I can go to, and they'll give me some wise advice.
Yeah.
And in addition to mentors, I also have had, I have right now actually currently a coach, and, she helps me through my personal and my professional goals, and this keeps me accountable as well.
Beautiful. One thing I'm picking up from what you're saying is that along the way, a mentor is someone that really lifts us up in a positive way. When we're feeling self-doubt, or we're wondering where we are and who we are in moments, they're always there to lead and guide in a very positive, really authentic, caring way. And so it's a beautiful distinction, to me anyway, between a coach and a mentor. And all are helpful, but this mentorship, it reminds me, and I think it reminds all of us, lend a helping hand to someone coming up along the way. We never know how much that's going to affect someone and help them. And it's just there's nothing better than feeling like we're helping someone in that way. So beautiful explanation, Lupe. Thank you.
I think that
Aisha, I would love to hear from you. We haven't talked in a while. So
yeah, and I think that actually speaks directly to kind of my journey with joining in real estate, because I got that pivotal piece at the beginning, and it wasn't until it's now and even then that I kind of figured out early on what was important about that mentorship. And prior to me joining the real estate industry, I worked in a business with men. It was everyone around me were men, and I was the only woman. So the culture and the feel was a little bit different. So when I decided to become in real estate, one of my really good friends, Carla Brown, she was just like, you know what, I think that you would fit in perfectly with the culture of our brokerage. And so she kind of encouraged me to go ahead and just continue on with the education and started the journey. And early on, she introduced me to my now broker, Sabrina Brown, and she is the fabulous, wonderful, magnificent Sabrina Brown. And she had created a culture in her office that was a safe space for you to be yourself and to be able to be transparent. And it was the first time in a long time that I had a space like that. So there was even a moment that I broke down and cried, because it was just so appreciative of how it felt that I could be who I wanted to be and didn't have the pressures of anything else. And I could be a woman. I could be someone who was going through some stressful times and all of this great stuff, because the culture in the office created the space for that. So that really put something in me to be mindful of, one, how, not what I say, but how I say that, and also making sure that I create these additional safe spaces wherever I go, so that people can feel like they can be themselves without being judged or, turned away. So My mentorship, yep. So Sabrina Brown was definitely my mentor early on. And right now, actually, luckily for me, Miss Natalie Leone is currently the president of our local network. And she's been mentoring me all this year to prepare to become the incoming president for Women's Council. So luckily for me, I have a great mentor like her at my side, along with Lionel Okobi. He is our current president for Realtors of Fresno County. And he has been amazing and pivotal as well when it comes to leadership and having some mentorship.
It's great. And you've male and female. So it's so interesting as we grow where we can glean information and find wonderful mentors. It's interesting. I think I heard you say in there, your mentors helped you with how you talk to yourself and how you hold everything that's going on in life. And I think that's very true too. It's how are we talking to ourselves, and they teach us how to really bring ourselves up the right way, so to speak. So that's another wonderful value. And that was a perfect tee off over to Natalie. Natalie, you're in the season of your career where you're mentoring and being mentored at the same time. So I wonder how that experience is and how you straddle both of those and what lessons you can share with us.
Well, to piggyback off of what Aisha was talking about with the things that, people are talking about with us and sharing, but are we listening to those things that are important to us? So for me, it took me a few lessons to learn that I really needed to listen to what was important in my own life, that I had these boundaries that I had written down that I didn't want to cross over. And in reality, I ended up saying yes too much because I wanted to help people and I wanted to let them know that I cared about what was going on. And by not holding firm on my boundaries, it meant that I had to say no to other things. And some of those things were personal things in my life that I really didn't want to have any flexibility on, that it was really important to work on my health. It was really important to spend time with my family. So holding those boundaries for the commitments that you have is a really great start in how to keep that balance. It allows you to be mindful of the time that you've set for your work and for yourself and for others. I also like treating my mentor appointments like doctor appointments, that when I have a mentoring appointment, it's like my appointment with my doctor. I don't know when I'm going to get another appointment. It might be a ways out. And it's really important because I don't want to miss that time period. So for me, when I'm mentoring with someone, I make sure that I don't miss that appointment. And when I'm mentoring someone else, I ask that they treat it the same way, that our time is really important and valuable, and it might be a little bit before we can connect again. So if they could, have the same mindset, I think that's great. What I've also learned about this is that mentoring doesn't have to look like a coaching session. It can just be asking someone to come alongside you. So when I look at how to balance being a mentor and being mentored, sometimes just saying, hey, Aisha, I'm going to go to this thing and I'd really like for you to sit at the table with me. And it may be that she's being mentored by 6 other women at the table, or women and men, or whoever's in the group. But it doesn't have to necessarily be where we're sitting together and it's let's go over a script and check all the boxes that we're going to review all these things together. Sometimes just asking someone alongside of you is a great way to mentor them too.
And don't you find sometimes that's almost better? I think that's a rhetorical question, really, when it's not checking off the boxes, but it's what's really going on for you inside. And I think sometimes when we ask someone else that we truly trust, we might hear back. I know I have things that I wasn't expecting that are aha moments for me. And I think some of the hardest lessons for me, and sometimes when I've heard things that might bother me, that's where my largest growth comes. And it's when I really need to hear something and can grow from it. So
yeah. And I think that's really important for a mentor also, is to be able to have the difficult conversations too. I really love positivity. I mean, I need it. I want it. I thrive on it. But I also really appreciate when a mentor says, hey, Natalie, you're doing amazing at this. However, if you could make this one adjustment, you might see a different result. So I would appreciate when someone has a difficult conversation with me to help me be better. My broker, Preston Miller, he's the same way, that he says, hey, I need to have a chat and just wanted to let you know, here's some things that I think could be, done a little bit differently that might give you a different result that you're trying to reach. And I appreciate that. I know that, people will not always remember who I am or what my name is, but they will remember how I treat them. So in treating people with grace and with dignity, I think that's the best way to find a mentor is do we connect? Do we feel like this is something that's going to work out for us or not? And if it doesn't feel good, then move on, find another one. It's okay to say no. And it's okay to say, thank you for your time. I appreciate it. I'm going to, explore some other options.
Yeah. But when we do trust that person and we do feel that comfort level and we do express things with kindness and compassion, it is okay to say that, to mention the things that are really coming up for you, because we help each other that way. I mean, I grow oftentimes from people that I'm mentoring, because they'll share something with me that helps me to grow as well. So it's just a wonderful interface, and there's no better place than WomanUP and all the facilities you've all mentioned in ways to mentor with each other. Thank you. I'm really interested to know, what is a pivotal moment or experience for each of you that's happened that's really changed your direction in career or life, or your progress that's come forward from a mentoring relationship? Is there one thing that stands out for each of you of that moment or that situation? Lupe?
So for me, I want to say it was going back to that same mentor that I originally had. In 2013, I was diagnosed with thyroid cancer. So I had already switched to a different brokerage, but I kept in touch with her. So being able to go back to someone and talk to them about what was going on really helped me, because there was confusion. There was a lot of things going on in my mind. So one of the things that she told me was, she goes, as much as you need to provide good customer service to your clients and be there for them, you also need to have that balance and, look out for your health and your family. Your health and your family is first, because at the end of the day, if you're gone, they're going to go on and they're going to go with another agent, and your family is going to be the one left without you. So that kind of helped me so that I could kind of have a different perspective. And it might seem like I kind of went back instead of forward, but I think it was something that that needed to be done at the moment, where I decided that, okay, I'm going to, slow down, cut back on the stress. And then, eventually, as when I came back, when I was ready to come back, I went back to school, I got my master's, and then I decided to, instead of going back as a broker's associate, be an independent broker. And that helped me, so that I could see that it's okay, to, temporarily slow down, so that I could, reset and focus and, get a better, better hold of, what I wanted to do, and have, a balance in my personal life and my business.
What a beautiful way of looking at that and experiencing how we take time for self, and almost getting that permission for self to pay attention, as Natalie was saying, to our own boundaries, to what you needed, so that then you can be the better for everyone else going forward in life, and how that reflection helped you with your whole future.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Beautiful. Aisha.
Getting that mute button off. Yes. So again, like I said, there was a pivotal moment at the beginning, because the mentorship that I got was so great. It kind of ingrained some of the things that I thought was important for me to instill when I interact with other professionals in my space. And so that transition with that mentorship to just thinking back, working with NYPN, which is a network for in a space for incoming real estate agents. So they're brand new to the organization and becoming a real estate agent. And I remember how it was for me joining in and not knowing a lot. There was a lot of not knowing. But being able to create the space, even in YPN, that transition from the mentorship that I got, and being able to be that safe space and create those safe spaces in that YPN committee, so that it got to the point where other professionals would come to us when they didn't feel comfortable going to their current mentors or the folks, their support that they had around them, because they needed some additional support. And so it made me happy to be able to produce something like that, a space, a safe space like that, which also transitioned to Women's Council, making sure that we instilled those safe spaces so that our members could come to us and have a space where they could be themselves, to learn and grow and share all of their, all of the creative stuff that they have. That again, it's that beginning for me. Sabrina did such a great job creating an amazing space for me to be able to be myself and to learn that early on, and to be able to have a place where I can grow.
Well, yeah, and learning, you said, to be yourself. And from that point, you share more of you and your beautiful self with everyone else. So what a great lesson there.
Yes.
That just kind of keep paying it forward.
Right.
It's beautiful. But the energy is palpable when we talk about this, and the energy within WomanUP and the organizations you're speaking of. Just that warmth and openness to grow and help each other, which isn't always the case in the outside world. So we're really fortunate. Mm-hmm. Natalie.
You know, my story sounds very similar to these ladies. I have such a great relationship with our broker, Preston Miller. He, when we attended a WomanUP conference, and Deborah was talking about her Lioness Pride speech that just gave everybody goosebumps and tears all at the same time. I remember Preston looking over at me and saying, "Can I be part of your pride?" And I was like, "Absolutely. And I'll tell nobody." Sorry, Preston, but it's out. He's part of my pride. But, you know, one of the things that he helped me with is I was stuck in a really difficult position in choosing which path I wanted to choose in a leadership direction. I had a couple of choices, and I wanted to go one way, and I felt that I needed to go this way, and the pressure from, you know, my peers around me was kind of leading me this way, but my heart really wanted to go another direction. And one of the things that he said was, he sat down and shut the door in my office and said, "What feels good to you? What is it that you want to do? What is it that's being true to yourself? You know, forget about everybody else. Stop trying to please everybody else. What is going to make you happy? And then do that. And then make sure that nobody derails you from that. Keep those, you know, direction blinders on, including yourself," because he knew that I'm a yes person. And he said, "You know, you're going to want to say, okay, well, I'll just help with this. Okay, well, you know, I'll just help out on this committee a little bit, or I'll help out with this one event, or let's just make something together." And it could end up being something that could slow my growth or slow the direction that I'm trying to go to. So having that difficult conversation with me to help me remember what was important to me and what my values were in line with was really pivotal for me, not only to hear that someone else is saying it's okay to take care of you first, but to know that I had that sort of support and leadership and mentorship that was saying, "Do your thing, and I'm going to hold you accountable and you know, help you with these tough choices," was really big. It was everything, you know, that was a really big deal. And also, you know, my very first WomanUP conference was also pretty pivotal to me. Finding people that literally reaching out saying, "Hey, I don't know you, but, you know," and hearing what you're wanting to do. Like, could we have coffee? Could we connect? You want to have some phone calls? Was kind of like, hallelujah, you know, the clouds had parted, and it was like, who are these people? Oh my gosh, I feel like I had really found, you know, the people that I wanted to be with and wanted to be a part of, and I could not wait to dig in. And so when Deborah said, what can you do? What are you interested in? Would you like to be a mentor? Would you like to be mentored? It was yes, absolutely 100% yes. I really felt like, you know, I was that kid at school that was at that other table, and all the cool kids were over here, and I was kind of doing my thing. But when I found WomanUP, it was like, I get to sit with the cool kids. This is great. So I got to feel like I was a part of something, and that was just so pivotal for me too.
I love that. That's so great because it is like that. And it's just, again, the outside world doesn't always feel that way. And talk about a group of people that authentically want to help each other and support each other and watch each other grow is just amazing. Yeah, that. And I love what you said about someone with Preston sitting with you and giving you permission to know that you had the wisdom inside to make your own decision of what's right for you. I think so often I need that. We all need that because I could get it very much more complex and thinking about everybody else and all of the other things rather than right back to what feels right inside.
Yeah.
So you probably do that with everyone you mentor now as well. So
I sure try.
Yep. So I guess for all of us, what guidance would you have for someone that's listening today? Someone's listening now that feels stuck, that with all that's going on in the last year or two and things going on in life with family, whatever, if someone's feeling like, what do I do to get unstuck, to get back in motion? Do you have any guidance for them? And how would they find a mentor?
Yes. I would say stuck happens, especially in the circumstances that we've been dealing with since March 2020. It turned our whole lives completely around. We are having to think about things we've never had to even think about before, and it's completely shifted our lives. With that being said, you gotta give yourself grace because of that. So allow yourself to have those moments to be stuck, but then try to find your way to pull yourself out. And you got to remember, take a moment to look back and look how far you have come, because we are constantly on a journey. So look back and remember some of those great things that have happened and think about that. And then take a moment to do some of that self-love, to just give yourself some grace, take some time, and then find some way to pull yourself out of the stuck. Find something that motivates you. WomanUP motivates me. So I join those the conferences that they have. I find other conferences to go to. I'm getting ready to head to Tom Ferry next week, which is going to be so much fun. And that is part of one of those things, to find something that's going to breathe some of that life into me. I'll be with my Women's Council crew this week. And I'm so excited about that because they're going to be able to speak that life into me as well. So find those things that you absolutely love, the things that you just regularly love to do on a day-to-day basis, and then find some things that are going to feed into that motivation to speak that life back into you, so you can get yourself in a safe space, in that great place. So don't be so tough on you, because stuff does happen.
Fabulous. Lupe or Natalie, do you have anything else to share around that?
I can share. One of the things I would encourage people, if anyone who's feeling stuck right now, is to not give up. When you're going through the emotions or the feelings or whatever situation you're going through, you might feel like, there is no way out, but you're stronger than what you think. And then later you can go back and you see, and you're like, yeah, I was able to beat whatever it was that you were going through, and eventually hard work will pay off. And I would say keep a growth mindset, be open to change and learning new things, and find a mentor who's passionate about helping others. I think that's key for a mentor. They have to have that desire and that passion. It has to be something that they really enjoy doing, and also that you can relate to, because I think that's important. And I would say, some other things that you could do is like what I did. If you're looking for a mentor, go to the WomanUP mentorship program, sign up, or you can also join a local community organization that gives resources and guidance, and you can also network with other experienced agents whom you admire and whom you would like to learn from. And I think that's what that's what I have.
Great.
Mm-hmm.
Great points. Natalie, anything to share there?
Yeah, I think that I think there's mentors out there that we don't even know are mentors, or they don't know that they're mentors. And it's okay to ask people. It's okay to, think about who are two people in this industry that you would love to meet. I know that Aisha, she cracked me up at one meeting that there was someone that she had this girl crush on, that she was like, oh my gosh, she's like so amazing. I really want to meet her. And she got up and introduced herself to this person. And that person felt like, oh, what? Oh my goodness. That's so cool. Of course I'll meet with you for coffee. It's okay to ask people. It's okay if they say no. Ask someone else. There's a lot of people out there that are successful in the things that you are interested in right now. And if you don't know some people, reach out to Deborah. She is a connector. Or Sarah. Oh my gosh, they know everybody and they can connect you with people. But don't be afraid to ask some people. It doesn't have to be a specific mentoring program, although WomanUP has an amazing one. And Lupe already mentioned to go to the I Am WomanUP page and look for a mentor there is a really great start. But if you know someone in the industry that you would really like to meet, introduce yourself and ask them, hey, would you happen to have a couple of minutes? I'm working on this project, or I have this thing that, is important to me, and I'd really like to get your perspective. Would you have a few minutes for me? And be specific. When you ask someone for help, it's kind of overwhelming for some people to feel like, well, how can I help you? What do you need help with? Is this something your broker should be helping you with? Like, what is it you need specifically? It allows that person to think about, well, gosh, I might have some resources or know someone else that can help, and I might be able to help you. It allows them some time to prepare before you actually get together. So being able to be specific in what it is that you need when you ask for help is super, super important, I feel. And I think that is, something that we should all try. Is if we're sitting at the table, somebody introduce yourself. We're going to Women's Council meeting this weekend, and I'm coaching our ladies on introduce yourself. Let people know who you are. Let people know who Greater Fresno is, that we are about networking and getting together and building relationships. So don't be afraid to reach out and introduce yourself. It'll be the best thing that you ever did. You'll make connections from all over the place.
Great advice. Great advice. And it's always been, I've found myself shocked at times how much people that are senior to us or older than us or really experienced really want to help and love to help. But I love your point that we need to be specific, because then they know how they can help, and they love to help. And particularly if they can feel like they have helped, that's really important to them. So it's not so scary once we get started.
And then appreciate them. Let them know the impact. Follow up with them and say, hey, because of what we talked about, guess what happened? Oh my gosh, I'm so excited to share with you. Oh man, it'll make their day.
Well, and then they want to continue. They want to have more and more. Absolutely. And that probably ties into my next question. It's, what advice would any of you have to someone who wants to be a mentor or is a mentor? What's been the most effective for you in your meetings with mentors? One or two ideas, if any of you want to hop in on that one. And then I'm going to ask you, Natalie, about your mentoring and being prepared for that. So Lupe or Aisha, do you have anything about what do you find most powerful about the mentorship for a mentor if someone's trying to be that or wanting to?
What I would say would be to give grace. It's the grace thing that's like super important whenever you are working with someone. You've got to give grace to yourself because you are learning. You're on a journey and you're opening yourself up to some new experiences. So you want to also, when you're being mentored, be open-minded and be able to accept constructive criticism so that you can just take in the information that you're given and just give yourself some time to marinate on it before you dissect it and decide how you want to implement that into your business. But don't let it affect you in a manner where it's like you're not good enough. Just be good to yourself, like genuinely be good to yourself. And then remember that when you are growing and learning and changing, it takes time for you to be able to instill new habits that would on average, it's 18 to 66 days to actually make it something that you're automatically doing. doing. So remember that. So it's not going to be something that's going to be overnight. It's going to be something that you're going to have to work on diligently. So again, be open-minded, take that criticism, marinate on them, and turn it into something beautiful.
Beautiful. Treat ourselves like we would our best friend.
Exactly.
Yeah. Lupe?
Well, I would say keep in mind that whether you're mentor mentee, there's a relationship, and I think that's something that's important to keep in mind. When you have that relationship, it's just like they were mentioning earlier. It's like you're empowering others, and that's like a rewarding experience that you have, just knowing that you have impacted one person and that person eventually will impact other people as well. And I think like in my case, the women that have been mentoring me throughout my life, it's a long-term relationship. It hasn't been, it perhaps could be a short, but in my case, it's been people who I've learned to get along with very well, who we have a lot of things in common. And sometimes it's just a matter of just kind of, for the mentor to give the mentee some clarity and some direction on what they want to achieve. And in my situation, the generosity of others that have shared their knowledge with me and their experiences, what has continued and encouraged me to grow and to be also of help to others. So yes, that's it.
Yeah. And Natalie, for you, can you share with us how a mentee should really think about preparing and showing up for a meeting with a mentor? You've touched on it already, but I think that's so invaluable about treat it like a doctor's appointment. There's nothing more important than ourselves. But how is it that I should show up if I'm your mentee to create the most value for both of us and a relationship that will last?
Well, of course, the doctor appointment is pretty important, but be on time. Don't cancel or reschedule unless there is something major that's happened that you would need to change for. I think it's also important to ask how your mentor and mentee like to communicate. What is it they're looking to get out of this? Are you wanting to hear the hard stuff? Are you wanting to meet once a week? Are you wanting to meet once a month? So the first appointment, I would say, is get some foundational stuff laid out. Figure out what it is that you're wanting to accomplish, how you're going to communicate. Can I just send you an email with some things I'm working on, or could we do a Zoom together? Getting that figured out is pretty important. Having that list ahead of time of the things that you're wanting to work on. My first mentor that I had in WomanUP was Vanessa Bergmark. Oh my goodness. Amazing rock star. Love her to death. And she, said, hey, send me the things that you want to work on so I can prepare that when we have our time together, that we can work more efficiently, get the things that you want to have covered, and that I can be prepared and give you the best answers. So I really appreciated that. And that really changed me in my approach in working with other people. And when I'm asking for help of others is that here's the things I'm looking for. Here's how I would like to have them accomplished and by when. Here's the timeline of this goal that I'm setting for myself so that I'm looking to have this accomplished in the next 3 months. And I'm looking, for help from you on how to get that done in the next 3 months. So I think that's really important. I would say take lots of notes, like your career depended on it. I would say as a mentor, there's nothing more frustrating when I'm, taking time out of my schedule and spending time and, someone's sitting in a meeting with me, sitting on their phone, texting somebody else. And I feel like, gosh, are you hearing what I'm saying? Like, are we connecting here? So take notes, pay attention, give them, your time back, stay focused on the topic. As another thing on my list is that, it's easy to get chit chatty and have fun and really enjoy each other, getting to know each other, but then you kind of lose your momentum on what it is you're trying to accomplish in that meeting. So staying on point, staying focused, being positive, being grateful for their time. We talked about that a little bit earlier as well. And, at the next meeting, share with them what it is that you've done. Share with them what you've been able to accomplish, either from their advice or how maybe you've implemented something that felt, a little more in tune with you based on their advice. So I think that's really important. Aisha touched on being open-minded. I think that that's really key too, that, a lot of people want to get somewhere and want help, but sometimes they really aren't willing to do the work or to, pay attention and listen. So if you're going to ask for help, I expect that people are going to want to, act on what it is that they're asking for help with. So I think those are some of the key points that I have listed down that are important for me when I'm speaking with mentors.
Beautiful.
So good, ladies. Okay, so before we get to the round robin of final advice, we do have a couple of questions that were sent in, and we did talk about how each of you found your mentors and kind of your advice on that. But I would really like, how does somebody know that they're ready? And then how do they get started? So what did you do before you found your mentor? How did you get started? Did you write down your list? What was that moment where you were like, okay, I need a mentor. Now what? Let's see, Aisha, let's start with you, because I know you've got lots of different layers of where you've been mentored and how you're stepping into it. So what do you got for us on that one?
We'll see. So like, I'm, when I say like, sometimes it's timing is everything. So for me, really and truly, I really felt like the timing was right for me. So because my friend guided me to going to real estate school and encouraged me to do that. She was already at this brokerage and already knew the culture of the space. I literally got handed my mentor, and because I didn't know where to go to begin with, where to go next. And Sabrina, I mean, as amazing as she is, she was like the one-stop shop. Like, she literally had answers for absolutely everything I needed, and then pushed me into the direction to find mentorship in other spaces, finding education, continuing to find places for myself to be able to grow and learn in. So in my case, I did really get lucky and was literally introduced to the mentor that I continue to have even today.
Yeah, I think that's powerful. And I think that, and Nakaya Carter is the one that asked the question. She's a fairly new independent broker, and she's running a brokerage. And so Pat, you've been in various roles in the industry, and you tend to be one of the icons that women look up to in this industry. So how, if Nakaya was here right now, how would you want her to engage you if she wanted you to mentor her?
I think for Nakaya or anyone, I think it's when you feel that stuck, or I have a question and I really want somebody that I trust that I can reach out to. You want to look out to someone. And if you were going to approach me, it would be honestly and openly. I really would love, if someone said to me, I really would love your help and advice on this confidentially. There's no better words for me, because I don't care how busy I am. There's nothing that feels better than working with someone else to help them along the way. Absolutely, unequivocally. So if I felt she really meant it, and what Natalie was saying earlier is be specific as you can, and just be honest and open that I don't know who to turn to. I'm feeling like maybe you could help me or direct me. Because also there are many times where I'll talk to someone and say, let's work together on it. And I know a perfect person that could probably really be beneficial as well. Let me introduce you. So we never know who I know or Deborah knows or whomever. So I think for anyone who's feeling like, how do I get started? How do I know? Pick up the phone or text or email. I promise you, the people that you might be afraid to approach really, really want to help.
Yes. I love that. And if I could boil that down, Pat, It's simply ask the question.
Ask the question,
right?
And don't worry that you don't have the question completely articulated perfectly. People can tell intent.
Yes.
And when you have great intention, you're serious and you're open-minded. If you're coachable and open-minded, everyone wants to help each other.
Yes. Well, I've seen this kind of floating around on TikTok and the Gram stories about like, we need to set this whole, like, I'm intimidated, like you're intimidating, and put it back on ourselves, right? Look in the mirror and go, why am I intimidated here? Like, what is this? Right. And then we need to talk to that side of ourselves and say, yes. Hush, sister, hush.
And you could call me and tell me you're intimidated to talk to me, because I'll be the first one to say to you, look, I've spent all these years of my life feeling the same way. And until we have the courage to just speak anyway.
Yeah.
And, we grow so much by that. I've spent my whole life finding more and more voice and using my voice in boardrooms with everyone's a man other than me. And I've learned my lessons and I'm still learning. So yes, just ask the question, and you can always admit, at least to me, you can always admit this feels intimidating. And I'll be the first one to tell you, no, just go for it.
Yeah. Tell her to hush. I tell myself to hush quite a bit in here. Right. And I love that you shared also that happens to you too, Pat. I mean, absolutely. I think that the people that we think are never have insecurity, never feel that imposter syndrome, like we all do. I think there's 2% of people on this planet who don't experience imposter syndrome, who think they have the perfect body, the perfect mind, the perfect house, the perfect everything. And I think they're all dosed up on something.
Yeah, I was just going to say.
So there you go. Okay. So one of the other things that I really want us to touch on before we end today is how we can give back to a mentor. Because I do truly, deeply, and wholeheartedly believe that they should be mutually beneficial relationships. And I think that mentors sometimes can go, oh, no, I don't need anything. I'm good. Like, I want to just serve you. And so over the years, I've collected a list, and I would love to hear yours. So let me start by inspiring you. A lot of times mentors are senior to us. And so talking to them and asking them if they've got any technology they want to learn, like if they are unsure about how to create a story, or they've been thinking about TikTok, but they feel ridiculous that they don't know how to actually do a post there. Like, you asking them and opening the door could make a huge difference for them. So ask them if they have anything that they want to learn on their phone, on their laptop, nominating them for local awards. If it's somebody that's local, there's business awards, there's women in business awards, there's association awards. So where can you actually nominate them for awards? And of course, give their name as a speaker for local opportunities in your area and for virtual things that are happening. So keep your mentors in mind for things like that. And then the last idea that I'll share is recommend them on LinkedIn. There is so much power to you sharing how they helped you as a mentor on their recommendations. So don't be afraid to write something about them, and don't ask them, just do it. It's like a beautiful gift that arrives in their inbox. Okay. So those are some. Lupe, what's a way that you give back to your mentor that somebody has done for you?
Well, similar to what you were saying, one of the things that I've done is help out in areas that maybe she wasn't as experienced as I was. Then I would try to help out with some of that stuff. And pretty much just being there when they needed help in something.
That's great. I love that. Natalie, how about you? From both sides, right?
Yeah. I really like the ask that you talked about of, what is there something that you're working on that maybe I might be able to help you with? I think that's really important. And one of the things that I really appreciate is, we all post, we all, do social media sort of things, or we're involved in a cause or an event. When someone shares something that I'm interested in, it makes me feel really good. Not just that they like it, but maybe they comment, hey, I know Natalie and she did this for me, or she's, a great resource for whatever. It is like, oh my gosh, they didn't just like it, because sometimes I never see who likes it. I mean, there's 20 likes, but but to have the comment is great. But for them to share it on their page with their people makes me feel like, oh man, that's pretty sweet. So I really appreciate when that happens, and I try to do the same. And then again, the community shout outs that you mentioned, I think are a really big deal too. And then something super simple, Lupe will understand this because she's a Buffini person too, is write him a handwritten note card. It's so cheap and so easy, 4 or 5 sentences. I have a drawer full of stuff that's years old that someone has just written me the simplest card that means so much. So don't be afraid to do the little things. Little things are big things. So just, write the notes.
I love that. Pat, Aisha, either one of you have a fun idea here?
I love the idea of helping, asking about posting on TikTok or whatever. I almost raised my hand. It's like, wow, all that stuff. I need it all. I think that what I was going to mention is the little things like Natalie just said, writing a thank you note. When when you really send someone that's helped you a note about how much it's helped you, there's nothing better than to feel like we've made that kind of connection and we've really made a difference in life, because that's what we're all doing here.
I love that. Aisha, I can see you're like, oh, I got something.
Well, actually, everybody said all the great things that I could think of. Like, I can do the Facebook posts and all that other great stuff. But I think that also just the one-on-one conversation and letting them know directly, like, hey, I really appreciate your mentorship. And I got to share yesterday with Natalie how much I appreciated the journey that I've had to work alongside her and how her mentorship meant so much. Like, I got to share with her what were some of those things, like her organization, how she's just is very thoughtful. She has these really thoughtful things that she does when she wants to interact with folks. So it's like the things that she's done, that she shared with me, like I really appreciate those, because that's going to help me to be a great president following her footsteps.
Oh my goodness, I feel the love. I just dropped in the chat our Shine a Light on Her initiative. So if you go to IamWomanUp.com/shine a light, it is an amazing way to really give that woman, that mentor of yours, a shout out. We create an image with the words that you share about her, and we post it on our social media accounts here at WomanUP. We love to do that. We usually do a big selfie challenge during Women's History Month, but we take Shine a Light on Her requests all year long. So head on over there if there's somebody that you're like, oh, I want to do something special. That's a great place to do it. Okay, so we are almost at the top of the hour. Let's do our closing thoughts, words of wisdom. Aisha, let's start with you, then Lupe, then Natalie, then Pat.
Love yourself first. Always remember to love yourself. That is very important. You're going to continue to grow and to change. So continue to learn how to love that new person you continue to become. Don't work so hard to work on that, finding that work-life balance. I think it's almost like a myth of a work-life balance. The best way that it was shared with me is to try to find harmony, because, a harmony will change, the melody changes. And so you adjust, so things in your life will shift. So work more towards just finding that right groove, and it's going to continuously change. And then a few things that I would recommend is, like, when you are stuck, there are times when you need a refresher and things that are going to motivate you and bring you right back to reset. And a few of those reads for me are The Alchemist. The Alchemist is always one that helps me remember that journey and enjoying that journey as I'm taking it on, and the lessons that I will continue to learn. The Atomic Habit is another one that helps refresh and remind me of how to think about the habits I currently have and then how to bring some new and good stuff into it, and how you can work with that, because there's several ways to do that, stacking them, and then also you're a badass. Just remembering that I am a badass, and that's a good refresher read, that just like, like a little chill read where it's not so serious all the time, and it helps you to just bring a little laughter to how badass we really are.
I love that, Aisha. Lupe, how about you?
I would say seek to be mentored. It'll change your personal and your business life, and also look to pay it back by mentoring others, and just be generous and lift others by sharing your experience and your knowledge. I would say maybe there's a couple of books that I've read that have helped me a lot. It's for both mentors and mentees, which is they're short books, which is Mentoring 101 with John C. Maxwell, and 1 Minute Mentoring with Ken Blanchard and Claire Diaz-Ortiz. So I think those would be very helpful as well.
Excellent. And for those of you who are like, wait, what's the name of that book? As soon as we get the replay out, we will have the show notes with all of the names of these books and the authors. So don't worry, we got you covered. Natalie, next. You.
I would say to keep the whole flight attendant analogy in mind, that if you don't take care of yourself, you can't take care of everybody else. And y'all are really young on this call, but as you get older, things start happening, and you need to take care of yourself, because there's certain things you can't get back. You can't get time back, can't get your health back. So don't be afraid to do the things to take care of yourself, even if it's something small. If it's something little, I'm going to, use one of Deborah's words, is that I need to remember to fill my soul tank. I need to do things that make my heart and my mind happy. And mental health is huge in the industry that we're in, that we need to keep ourselves happy and healthy and positive. And just don't forget to refill that soul tank. I have a couple of books that I really like and go to. Jeffrey Gitomer is one of my favorite authors, probably because it's not so much of a chapter book, but he's got some cute little pictures in there that makes it a little easier to read. I'm being honest, but he has the Sells Bible, which is an older book, but really good. The Little Red Book of Selling, the Little Black Book of Conversations. He has some others that are really great too. I really like Brene Brown and all of her really direct approach, but I'm also going to be a little vulnerable here and share something that I really like: TikTok. My daughter is like totally embarrassed that I like TikTok, but I learned how to cook a pot roast. And let me tell you, I'm old. I should have already known how to do that, but it felt good to learn something new. And some of the stories are just really inspiring on there, the people that I'm following. So although it's not a book, I really enjoy spending time there, and it fills my soul tank. So find something that feels good. If you can't do an hour walk every day, do a 10-minute walk. Do something to get out, get up, and do something that feels good for you.
Oh my goodness. I love that. I love the TikTok story. Oh my gosh, that's so great. All right, Pat, bring us home. Last words of wisdom you want to sprinkle over the WomanUP community.
Okay. First of all, this energy is so infectious. I love it. Thank you all for being here with me. I think my real quick notes would be gratitude. I'm leaving this call feeling so grateful, and more grateful than when I came on. So for me, it's remembering gratitude every day. And the other thing I just want to share is that we're all perfectly imperfect, but perfect just the way we are. There is no out there or other thing I have to be, or I have to get, or any of us have to get better at this or better at that. The more we love exactly who we are, empower that, take care of that, and then spread that sparkle and that magic dust from who we are to others, then we shine. And we shine just being exactly who we are. So that's a remembrance for all of us, because then we can mentor each other that way. So that's just my closing feeling at the end of this absolutely beautiful hour. Thank you all.
I love it so much. Well, ladies, I want to make sure, I know that you were really focused in on the conversation, but I want you to know that there's so much love for you in the chat. I'll make sure to get you a copy of it. Sabrina, of course, is feeling super proud of you, Aisha. Like super proud of you.
That's
I love that. Lots of you ladies are wonderful. Thank you. Comma, of course, says, yes, loving me first. That sounds a little bit like her group of young women that she mentors, and she actually has an event coming up. So comma, make sure that you post that on the Facebook group so that we can all get involved in that and help you out, help spreading the word on that. Again, Sabrina said, a general great job, ladies. So happy I attended. Thank you all. As another, thank you so much. This has been a wonderful experience. So from Sarah and Leslie and Melanie and myself, thank you, ladies, so much for joining us today, for opening yourselves up, for sharing your wisdom, for sharing your stories. We have all of the links that you shared for the community to get connected with you. So we'll make sure to put those in the show notes as well. To those of you who attended live, remember, keep connected with these women. If one of them sings to your soul, reach out and ask her a question. You don't have to say, hey, will you mentor me right off the bat? Ask one question and see how it goes. Start small, invest in yourself, invest in finding that right fit for you in this season. We look forward to seeing you on the Facebook group. If you have trouble accessing the mentorship platform, shoot me a message, shoot the team a message at womanup@car.org, and we will get back to you. We'll get you plugged into that ASAP. Until next time, everyone, have a great rest of your week. We'll see you on Friday. Take care. Thanks again, ladies.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks, ladies.
Bye. Thank you, ladies. Have a great one.